Welcome back, my students, to a brand new episode of Comic Class. And in today's lesson, guys, we're looking at the Amazing Spider-Man issue 9, the Electro issue, where he makes his first appearance. And yeah, this will be a battle that we won't soon forget, and I can't wait to jump into this. So without further ado, guys, let's jump right into today's story. Let's go. So this story starts off with Peter tending to Aunt May, who has been kind of sick. And while he's worrying about Aunt May, we get to see that, I believe his name is Matt Dillon, who is Electro, building up his energy, his electricity, to go do some robbery. And yeah, he goes to steal from some bank trucks, I believe, and he is successful. And Peter actually finds out that his aunt is actually in the hospital and that she'll have to be there for a little bit. And he goes on and continues with his studies, and the stuff like the bullying and that is just really not worth it today. So he kind of just leaves without saying anything to anyone, not even trying to defend himself. And Flash notices this and realizes that something's wrong with Peter, that maybe he shouldn't have, been so hard on him. And we're starting to see a little bit of a shift. And Flash even says that after their fight in the last issue, that we got to see that, he's starting to respect Peter a lot more. So it seems like Flash is making a little bit of changes, but he's still a little bit of a bully. But yeah, Peter goes and talks to Aunt May, and we're seeing that Betty Brant is there with Aunt May, showing that her and Peter seem to have started some type of relationship. And Peter is, Betty is worried about Peter. And it's really cool to see that someone, is taking their time to put Peter in their life. And this is like Peter's first real relationship, it seems, in this comic, which is really cool to see, because Peter definitely deserves somebody. Betty is just a really cool person, very nice person. And her being there for Aunt May is really cool and nice to see. Now, Matt Dillon, Electro, attacks J. Jonah Jameson, as well as goes to a bank that J. Jonah Jameson is at, and steals from them, basically. So Spider-Man shows up eventually. I'm not sure if he was just patrolling throughout the city, but he actually takes on Electro, and Electro uses the power of electricity. And Spider-Man hasn't made a suit that is resistant to electricity, so when he tries to grab Electro, he gets shot. And this is enough of a shot to kill any normal human. So it's really interesting that Spider-Man was able to survive. Now we get to learn that Electro's backstory is that he was working on some type of telephone pole or something, and a lightning had hit it, and it granted him like electricity powers, which is pretty comic booky. I mean, in real life you get murked, if this happened to you and you were touching a telephone pole. But this granted Electro his powers, and he uses these powers for evil, basically to steal from banks and stuff, to rob. And Electro gets a ton of goons, from the prison, and he tries to free all of them. So Peter leaves Aunt May at the hospital, even talks to Betty real quick, and he leaves. And he gets into his outfit, his costume, and he goes to the prison, and he takes on all these prison people, as well as fighting against Electro. And their battle is really interesting, because it cuts between Spider-Man fighting against Electro and also having a fight against these inmates, these prison inmates. And Peter comes up with the idea to use a water hose, or some type of water hose, to use on Electro, short-circuiting his power, kind of like a battery short-circuits Electro, and he knocks him out with this, electric shock. And this basically just, puts it to where Spider-Man can give him to the police, and it looks like Electro is going to prison. Now, Peter was able to get pictures of Electro versus Spider-Man and gives them to J. Jonah Jameson after J. Jonah Jameson said that he was going to sue Peter or something like that. Pretty funny stuff. And yeah, it's really cool because, J. Jonah Jameson, changes his tune real fast when he sees what Peter has brought him. And it seems like, Peter's going to continue to work for J. Jonah Jameson. And him and Betty get into a little bit of a fight. And they kind of have like a little bit of a disagreement with him not trusting her or something like that, you know, not putting her first between his job. And it's just, you know, it's really cool because Betty is older than Peter, and she realizes this, that Peter's still in high school. And at the end, they actually, you know, walk together. And, you know, Peter sees Aunt May and sees that, you know, the doctor said that she can go home in a few days. And it's really cool because she seems worried about Betty Brant, showing that, you know, she's a really good fit for Peter. And it's just one of those situations where Peter is a younger guy and Betty's, you know, a little older than him, an older woman that has had relationships, and that this is like Peter's first relationship. And it's showing that at the end with the two walking together, that they're working through their differences and these problems and these arguments that they're gonna have. And it's just really cool to see these problems that they're having are getting dealt with as adults, and shows Peter's maturity, learning that just because he's Spider-Man, he does still have to deal with normal human problems such as relationships. And yeah, that's how the issue ends, and hopefully you get to see more of Betty and Peter's relationship in the future, as Peter and Betty are amazing as a couple, at least right now. And yeah, that was the Amazing Spider-Man issue 9. What a fun issue, guys. Electro is a really cool villain. Yeah, he's a little cheesy in that, you know, in the future I know he's more of like a joke villain, kind of like Mysterio. But this was fun, and I really enjoyed the whole electricity power aspect of Electro, and I liked how Spider-Man had to come up with a new way to fight against him by using water to short-circuit Electro. And Spider-Man usually has to use his wits to win his battles because he fights very stronger opponents than what he usually is, especially since he has to hold back to not kill people. And he's usually in situations where he has to outsmart his opponents. And we can just see all these creative ways that Stan Lee and Steve Ditko came up with to have Spider-Man win his battles and defeat his enemies and villains. And yeah, this was just a really great issue. I definitely recommend you go check it out on Comixology, link in the description down below as always. And yeah, guys, if you want to help grow the channel, be sure to leave a like and also comment on the video what you thought of Electro as a villain and in his first appearance, and what villain are you excited to be introduced next in the Amazing Spider-Man Steve Ditko / Stan Lee run. But that's gonna be all, guys. Until the next video, guys, God bless you, and until the next lesson, keep on reading those comments.
I am who I'm meant to be. Over and out. My future needed clarity.